Hello, this is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Aging Like a Guru. Who, me? The who me is that part that's like, oh no, it's not me. And the part that it's like the humorous part of me. The humorous part is like, no, this isn't me. I'm not going through this stuff. I'm not aging. Everybody else is aging, but not me. And an interesting thing, I was reading Irvin Yalom's book about existentialism and being a therapist. And he was saying that like it's part of our inherent humanness, our humanity to say, hey, even though it's obvious that 100% of the population, whether you're a tree or a bug or a human being or an elephant, you're going to die. And even though that's true, everyone goes, no, it's not me. I'm not doing that. And so it's the same with aging. It's like, oh, no, I'm not, that isn't going to happen to me. There's a joke, and it's an old man and his wife, and they go to the doctors to get a checkup, and the checkup's for the man, and the doctor says to the elderly gentleman, okay, I need a semen sample, a stool sample, and a urine sample from you. And the man looks at his wife and says, what? What does he want? And the woman says, he wants to see your underwear. And it's, I think that's very, very funny because it's like, oh my God, these things happen. And the other day, something similar happened to me. And it was like, oh my God, there it is. There's a point where we can be humiliated with this existence in our humanness, in our humanity. The things that happen to us because we're human, it's just inevitable. And there's that tendency to be humiliated and to hide and to feel like you're a terrible, horrible being because these things happen to you. And we tend to deny it. We tend to say, no, that'll never happen to me. I'll always be in control, or I'll always, be balanced. I'll always have money. I'll always have health. I'll always have this beauty, whatever. And it's like, no, you won't, because that ain't the way it works. And you can get implants, you can get tummy tucks, you can get facelifts, you can get what all of those things are, but you're still aging. And at some point, it just becomes funny and humorous. The word humor obviously comes from the same root as humanness and humanity and humility and humiliation. And how we choose to be in the world is going to give us a sense of that's what we're choosing. So we can be, it can be despairing, it can be depressing, it can be grief-ridden to be in these human experiences. And it can be awfully funny too. For me, it's more the humor I find for myself is all the times I say that isn't going to happen to me. I'm always going to be, beautiful, and my figure is always going to be good, and I'm always going to be, young and youthful, physically. This is just not the truth. So I laugh at myself at my own arrogance, if you will, and if I don't do that, then I become probably more upset and pissed off at the world. There's a lot of people who are pissed off at the world because they're aging. And they were probably pissed off at the world before. And I've said this before, that I learned from a very wise elderly fellow elder, is that, if we're a certain character in the beginning, we become more of that as we age. So if you're a grumpy person and pissed off and find lots of reasons to complain about other people, you're going to do more of that as you get old. Whoopee! You get to do more of that because that's your way, unless you want to do it differently. One of the individuals in my aging group, in the group I facilitate, we're up to 3 years in this aging group, which is pretty spectacular. And I'll call her Brianna. So Brianna is 80, and she's like, here's what's going to happen to me. I'm just going to get worse. I'm going to decline into decrepitude, and then they're going to warehouse me. And that's what's going to happen. She doesn't have a, I know you go, what? Where's the sense of humor in that? But okay, so now what? Now you know that. That's what's going to happen. Could happen. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But now, okay, you're going to be warehoused. Does that mean, what does that mean to you? And does that mean that you have to be unhappy, depressed, pissed off, and nothing, in a sense, a lack of entity, a lack of presence in the world? And you get to make that up. And quite often we just, we choose to let go and give up, and we decline into decrepitude. And that's what happens. And it doesn't mean that sometimes we fall down, and sometimes we break things, and sometimes our mental capacities aren't what they could be. And how we choose to be with all of that is a choice. And it's sometimes really, really hard to get beyond our sense of grief and sadness and disappointment that life doesn't turn out the way we want. It turns out the way it does. And unless we cultivate self-awareness and cultivate the wisdom of how do I be in this, like the serenity prayer, grant me the wisdom to know the difference between what I can change and what I can't change. And so we have this ability. I was thinking about Brianna, and it's like, okay, I can be really, if that might happen to me, I might get warehoused someplace. And what are my choices? And I was watching the movie last night, The Two Popes, and Pope Francis, who's the fellow who's now Pope currently, he was a person of simplicity, and lived among the poor, and participated in the simplicity of life. That was his come from, and is his come from, and that quality that no matter where he is, that quality of simplicity, the quality of kindness, the quality of presence, the quality of joy and livelihood and serving, if you will, those are all capacities that we have no matter where we are. And we're a choice. So if Brianna ends up I don't know where Brianna's going to end up. She may end up someplace extraordinarily wonderful and that she has no idea about. That's awesome. We hope that's true. We hope that's true for everyone. If it happens to me, and in this moment, it's like, how do I be in that? And if my desire is to bring joy and lightness and kindness and sweetness to the world, how do I do that even if I'm warehoused in some institution that's like pretty bleak? How do I do that? And that's a choice. I may not know in this moment how to do it, but I have the capacity to figure it out. And I can stay in the, oh my God, that might happen to me. Or I can say okay, how do I make the best of that situation? How do I make the best of this situation? How do I make the best of what is? And live in the isness of it. And I always come back to what Yoda said, which is train yourself to let go of what you are afraid to lose. And to me, that is just the most extraordinarily brilliant sentiment or motto or mantra. And Yoda is just a character somebody made up, but that wisdom has been around for a long time to say, train yourself to let go of what you're afraid to lose. And the idea of being warehoused, it's like, oh my God, I lose the freedom, fun, flexibility. That's what we say. But is it true? Is it true? Do I really lose my sense of freedom? I've heard people who talk about being in prison for life and the sense of freedom that they have within themselves that they've cultivated because they've let go of that fear of loss. So we have this ability to see the humor, to experience the joy, to choose that as a path. It's not like you're going to choose it today and there it is. It's an ongoing practice, and that's partly why these podcasts for Aging Like a Guru, are for people not just in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, but are in for 40s or 30s or 20s, because we're all in the process of cultivating wisdom or not, cultivating awareness or not of how you choose to be you, how you choose to be you in this world. And humor is one of those ways. I'll leave you with there's a song, and a fellow named anyway, I don't know his name, but he sings a song that says, I just don't look good naked anymore. And it's just a truth. That another place of having to be with the humor of what cannot be changed, the serenity and the humility of accepting what we cannot change and just laughing about it because we think we're so in control. We think we're always going to be, amazing in ourselves. And we are always going to be amazing in ourselves as our bodies change and as things change within our bodies. But we're still this incredible wisdom and humorous and delightful being inside. And we can express that only as often as we want to. As a friend would say, have all the fun you're willing to have. All right, that's it for now. If you'd like to see some of my books, aside from Cultivating Spirituality in Children, you can find them on my website, and you can also find them at Barnes & Nobles or Amazon, or you can go to your local bookstore and ask them to order it for you. All right, big hugs. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.